Welcome to TechNova Podcast.
All right, so get this. Elon Musk is saying that his new AI Grok 3 is the smartest on Earth.
Oh, wow.
We're diving into this article from the Economic Times all about it today.
So is this thing the real deal, or is this just like more Elon Musk hype,
Well, the article quotes Musk saying that Grok 3 is outperforming anything that's been released based on xAI's tests.
Wait, hold on. Outperforming based on whose tests? Like, what are they comparing it to? I'm sure a lot of our listeners work in AI, and they're probably, like, equally as skeptical as I am right now.
Yeah, and I think that skepticism is warranted because we don't have details on what those tests were or how they were judged.
Right.
But one thing that is interesting is the timing of this announcement.
Yeah.
This Grok 3 announcement comes just days after OpenAI, which is the company behind ChatGPT, rejected Musk's buyout offer of $97.4 billion. So maybe just a little bit of rivalry fueling the fire here. Maybe a little bit of saltiness. It makes you wonder if this whole smartest AI claim is more about kind of one-upping the competition than like objective benchmarks or something.
Yeah, it's certainly possible.
Right.
But let's dive into what the article does tell us about Grok 3's capabilities. One detail that really jumped out at me was that they're using synthetic data for training.
Oh, I was just getting to that. For those of you who aren't like knee-deep in AI every day, synthetic data is basically artificial data that is created to mimic real-world data. What is the advantage of that?
Well, training an AI on real-world data can be really messy. There can be inaccuracies and biases, all sorts of things. And synthetic data is very controlled. So theoretically, it could lead to faster training times and a more accurate model.
And rumor has it Grok 3 might have text-to-video capabilities. Can you imagine typing out a scene and then it just like creates a video for you?
I mean, text-to-video is the holy grail for a lot of AI developers.
Exactly.
So if Grok 3 has actually cracked it, that would be a significant leap forward.
Absolutely.
But of course, all of this power requires serious computing muscle.
Of course.
The article mentions that Grok 3 is using the Colossus supercomputer, which is powered by 100,000 NVIDIA GPU hours.
Okay, for our listeners who aren't, tech wizards, that's basically saying that it had the computing power of thousands of like high-end gaming PCs combined.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of power.
But here's the thing. Grok 3 is not the only game in town.
Right. The AI landscape is incredibly competitive right now. You've got OpenAI constantly improving, ChatGPT, Google's working on Gemini AI, Meta is expanding the Llama series, and there's international players like DeepSeek, which is a Chinese startup that actually recently surpassed ChatGPT in app downloads.
Wow. So really, Grok 3 is jumping into a pretty crowded pool here.
It is.
It's going to be interesting to see how it actually measures up against these like already established players.
Exactly. And, all of this is happening within a larger context. Remember, Elon Musk has been very vocal about warning about the potential dangers of AI, even calling it like an existential threat to humanity.
Right. And yet here he is at the forefront of AI development, pushing the boundaries further than anyone else.
Right.
It really makes you wonder, is he being cautious with Grok 3's development, or is it full speed ahead?
Yeah.
What do we think?
That's a good question.
It's a big question.
A question worth pondering, because if this lives up to even half the hype, the impact could be huge.
Oh, absolutely. We could be talking about like massive shifts in industries, the way we work, even like how we understand the world.
Yeah.
All right, let's just take a breath here. We've covered a lot of ground in this first part, Grok 3. It's generating a lot of buzz, but we really need to like separate the facts from the hype.
Yeah, we need to figure out what's real and what's not.
For sure.
We need to be critical of what we're hearing.
Absolutely.
But it'll be interesting to see what happens. So in the next part, we're going to be exploring some potential real-world applications of Grok 3. And what its impact might be on your life.
I love it. All right, we'll be back in just a minute. It's kind of funny. We're talking about this like super advanced AI.
Yeah.
But even the name Grok is interesting. Like, where does that even come from?
Oh, that's a good point. It actually comes from this science fiction novel, Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert Heinlein.
Okay.
And to grok something means to like understand it so deeply that it becomes like a part of you.
Wow. So like almost like intuitively grasping the like true essence of something.
Exactly. And in a way, that's kind of what AI developers are striving for, right? To create systems that like understand and interact with the world on a level approaching or even like surpassing human comprehension.
So is Elon Musk like Loki implying that Grok 3 is going to grok reality better than we do? That's a pretty bold statement.
It is a bold statement.
It is. But let's shift gears for a second and talk about some potential real-world impacts of this, assuming, of course, that it lives up to even a fraction of the hype.
Right.
What could we see?
Well, one area that I think could be completely transformed is education.
Okay.
Imagine students having access to personalized AI tutors that can adapt to their learning styles and pace.
Oh, wow. So, like, no more one-size-fits-all classrooms. Every student just gets the, like, individualized attention that they need.
Exactly. That's right. It could be a game changer.
That's huge.
And think about the implications for lifelong learning.
Right.
Grok 3 could provide these personalized learning pathways that could help people acquire new skills and knowledge throughout their lives.
That's huge.
Mhm.
Especially in today's, like, rapidly changing job market.
Yeah.
What about the business world? I bet Grok 3 could be like a major disruptor there.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine tasks like data analysis, market research, even creative content generation, all being handled by AI.
Wow.
This could free up human workers to focus on more strategic and high-level tasks.
Okay, but wouldn't that lead to, like, job displacement? That's a
Yeah.
concern that a lot of people have about AI.
It's a valid concern, and it's one that we need to be mindful of as this technology develops.
Right.
But I think the key is to adapt. We need to focus on developing those skills that complement AI. Things like critical thinking, creativity, emotional intelligence.
Right, those uniquely human skills that AI can't really replicate.
Exactly.
So it's not about fearing AI, it's about figuring out how we work with it.
Right.
Okay, so what other sectors could see like a major impact from something like Grok 3?
Well, healthcare is another big one. AI-powered diagnostic tools could analyze medical images and patient data with incredible accuracy,
Oh, wow.
leading to earlier and more accurate diagnoses.
So that could mean more effective treatment and better outcomes for patients. That's amazing to think that this technology could potentially save lives.
Yeah, and it's not just diagnostics. Think about AI-assisted surgery, robotic care for the elderly, personalized drug discovery. The possibilities are really vast.
It sounds like science fiction, but it's becoming reality right before our eyes.
I know. It is remarkable how quickly AI is advancing.
Yeah.
But amidst all this excitement, I think it's important to remember that there are potential downsides as well.
Right. We talked about job displacement earlier. What other concerns should we be keeping in mind?
Well, one major concern is the potential for misuse. In the wrong hands, a powerful AI like this could be used for some pretty malicious purposes,
Like what?
like spreading misinformation, manipulating people, or even automating harmful activities.
It's a scary thought.
Mm,
The more powerful the technology, the more crucial it is to like really consider those ethical implications.
Exactly. We need to be having some serious conversations about how to develop and deploy AI responsibly,
Right.
ensuring that it's used for good and that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
So it's not just about building the most advanced AI, it's about building it with safeguards and ethical guidelines, and with a focus on the greater good.
Precisely. The future of AI is ultimately in our hands. It's up to us to guide its development and to make sure that it's used to benefit humanity as a whole.
It feels like we're standing at a crossroads.
We are. The rise of AI is one of the most significant technological developments in human history, and it has the potential to, completely reshape our world in some really profound ways.
Yeah, both positive and negative.
Right.
So what can we as individuals do to prepare for this AI-powered future?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, and one that we're going to delve into in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, deep divers, we're back for the final part of our Grok 3 Odyssey. We've talked about its capabilities, its potential impact, and even some of the ethical concerns. But now the big question is, how do we prepare for a world where AI like this is becoming a reality?
Yeah, that's a question that I think is on a lot of people's minds, and it's understandable to feel a little overwhelmed by it all. But I think there are a few key things that we can all do to navigate this new landscape.
Okay, so give us the roadmap. What's step one?
Well, I think first and foremost, we need to embrace lifelong learning. The skills that are hot today might be obsolete tomorrow. So we need to be adaptable and constantly be learning new things.
So it's not just about getting that degree or that certification. It's about having a mindset of continuous learning.
Exactly. And it's not just about technical skills either. We need to focus on developing those uniquely human skills. Things like critical thinking, creativity, problem-solving, emotional intelligence.
Right.
These are the skills that I think are really going to set us apart in an AI-driven world.
Yeah. It's like that saying, the only constant is change. We need to be comfortable with change and ready to adapt. What else can we do?
Stay informed. Read articles, listen to podcasts like this one, attend conferences, engage in thoughtful discussions about AI. The more we understand this technology, the better equipped we'll be to make informed decisions about its development and its use.
Knowledge is power, right? We can't just bury our heads in the sand and pretend that this isn't happening.
Absolutely. And here's another important one. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Challenge assumptions. Just because something is labeled as AI powered, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's inherently good or unbiased.
Right. We need to be critical thinkers, not just passive consumers of technology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we need to demand transparency from the companies that are developing these systems.
Yeah.
What data are they using to train these AIs? What are their ethical guidelines? These are all questions that we need to be asking.
So it's not just about passively adapting to this new world. It's about actively shaping it, you know? We have a voice and we need to use it.
I completely agree. The future of AI is not predetermined. It's something that we create collectively, and we need to have those open and honest conversations about the kind of future that we want to build.
That's a really powerful message. It's not about fearing the rise of the machines. It's about recognizing our own agency and our own responsibility in shaping this new era.
Exactly. And, amidst all the talk about algorithms and processing power and all of that, at the heart of it all is humanity. AI is a tool. Like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. It all depends on the intentions and the actions of the humans behind it.
So to wrap things up, it
Uh-huh.
seems like the key to thriving in an AI-driven world is to stay curious, adaptable, and above all, human.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Grok 3. It's been quite a journey.
It has. We've covered a lot of ground, from the technical details to the potential societal impacts.
And we've explored some really big questions about the future of AI and our role in shaping it. We hope you found this deep dive informative, thought-provoking, and maybe even a little inspiring.
Yeah, remember, the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something that we create together.
So stay curious, keep learning, and don't be afraid to ask the tough questions. Until next time, keep diving deep.